Good evening again, I'm Dadhichi from astrology.com.au. Please excuse me if I cough a bit, I'm just getting over a little lurgy. It's interesting to note the phenomenon of planetary motion, planetary interaction, celestial dancing, if you could call it that, and how it influences us here on planet Earth. And just now, two astrological factors in my own horoscope that I'd like to relate to you, and how they play out in the world of our daily lives. Sounds like a soap opera, and it should be when you hear what I'm going to tell you. But right now, Saturn in my horoscope transiting the 12th house from the lunar and solar positions, coupled with this recent retrogression of Mercury. Some of you no doubt have heard of retrograde Mercury and what it's supposed to signify. Forgetfulness, poor judgment in signing contracts, not a great time to be involving yourself in agreements, etc., etc. Usually when this happens, you have to retrace your steps. What I mean by that is if you conduct yourself under this transit, do a deal, come to an agreement, make a decision, then usually there'll be some returning to the event. So what happened, I'm almost embarrassed to tell you, but I'd forgotten that I'd given my car to the mechanic next door. And that forgetfulness, which is ruled by this retrograde Mercury, obviously has some underlying factors, some causative factors, and in my case it would have to be Saturn moving through this 12th solar position, which often gives a lot of intense life experiences, a lot of financial losses. Without going into too much detail, this has been a pretty severe 2 years for me. And therefore, when you're overloaded, you know what it's like. You do tend to get the odd thing. This was a pretty big odd thing. Because I went out later in the day and I'd completely forgotten that I'd given the keys to the friend next door who's a mechanic. And of course I assumed the car had been stolen. So I rang the police. My car's been stolen. Okay, we're going to send someone down now. So about a half hour later, before they'd arrived, I went back downstairs and I was just clicking to double check that my car may have been parked somewhere else. Lo and behold, I noticed the lights going on and off under the roller door of the mechanic's garage. And so, obviously I felt like an idiot. I rang the police again. Hey, it's okay, I've recovered the car. No problem, it's here. Sorry, we've got to send our team down just to verify and cite it. So I thought, I don't know how they're going to cite it because it's behind this large roller door. So they came down and I at least showed them that the car was there, because you could see the lights going on and off. So they said, it's cool, recovered. So I thought that was the end of it. But this is how Mercury plays little tricks. It is a young boy, according to Hindu astrology, called Kumar, rather prankish. This seemed like the universe playing a prank on me when 3 days later I was driving along just checking my nav man to see where I'm going, and all of a sudden the police pull me over at gunpoint. Well, wow, what have I done? I tried to keep calm and they asked me to put the keys on the roof and keep my hands on the steering wheel. All the while they're all shouting at me, and I could have sworn someone was filming it. It seemed like a movie to me. But anyhow, after about 5 or 10 minutes of this, they realised that they had the wrong man, and that I explained the situation to them. And they're the ones with egg on their face now, because obviously the original policeman that came along didn't actually finish off their paperwork, did they? Which left me in that unenviable predicament. But anyway, they wanted to give me a ticket, and I had to fight a little bit on that. Ticket for looking at the navigator. And I basically said to them, come on, cut me a little bit of slack here. which they did. They just drove off and they didn't give me a ticket. But that's Mercury. That's the prankish nature of Mercury, the returning to the situation through one's own actions, coming undone. Had I not been forgetful in the first place, we wouldn't have had a stolen car on our hands. So it's interesting to see how these planets play out. I'm sure you've got your own stories. More than happy to hear them. Throw them in. Let us all get a taste of what's happening in your confused state of mind when Mercury is retrograde and other planets are in a tough position. Incidentally, that mechanic was called upon because a week before that, a motorcyclist slammed into the back of me. So I thought I'd better give you the prelude to how and why I'd actually given my car to the mechanic. That's quite interesting because there was no damage to my car. I could have sworn there was going to be something wrong with it. But yeah, the guy was pretty shell-shocked. He'd scraped through to his skin and half his shoes were worn away. But fortunately, he wasn't too injured. And my car wasn't too injured either, but I just wanted to check. So that's also another aspect that's happening in the heavens, the Mars and the Saturn square, which often give accidents, and there's a case in point. I'm not saying every single person will have an accident under this transit, but in my horoscope, these two planets do tend to be notorious for giving those results. So you can see how it plays out here on Earth, as they say in the old dictum, as above, so below. Hope you join me at my site. That's www.astrology.com.au. Lots of stuff there, daily readings, monthly readings, yearly readings. We've got a lot of free psychic readings, question and answers. If you've got any questions, you can even message them here at YouTube if I get a chance. I'll email you back, and I look forward to having your company here shortly. Take care. Bye for now.